Israel is on high alert after a top Hamas leader was assassinated in a powerful explosion in Beirut yesterday. That strike could lead to an all-out war along the border with Lebanon.
Well, Palestinians are calling for revenge, and one analyst says the attack is a potential flashpoint in the war between Israel and Hamas. CBN's Julie Stahl brings us the story from Jerusalem.
Israel has not taken responsibility for the death of Hamas deputy leader Saleh Arouri, who was killed with at least 5 other people in an explosion in a southern suburb of the Lebanese capital, Beirut, on Tuesday. Lebanese state-run national news agency blamed the explosion on an alleged Israeli drone strike. Israeli officials declined to comment on what was described on Israeli television as the most dramatic assassination in years. Arouri was one of the founders of Hamas's military wing, the Izzadin-al-Qassam Brigades. He had been operating out of Lebanon as a guest of Hezbollah. The IDF spokesman didn't mention the assassination, but said Israel's battle is against Hamas.
The IDF is in a very high state of readiness in all arenas, in defense and offense. We are highly prepared for any scenario. The most important thing to say tonight is that we are focused and remain focused on fighting Hamas.
Meanwhile, in Ramallah, in the West Bank, Palestinians took to the streets protesting the death of Arouri, demanding revenge and calling on Hezbollah to take action. Former Israeli intelligence officer and analyst Avi Melamed wrote that the attack does present a moment of shame for Hezbollah and a potential flashpoint in the war between Israel and Hamas. Hezbollah is known to have a far more extensive tunnel network than Hamas and has more missiles which can reach all of Israel. On a visit to troops in Gaza, Israeli Defense Minister Yoav Gallant said that without a clear victory, Israel will not be able to live in the Middle East.
We must emerge victorious for 2 reasons. First, in order to exact a price and to ensure that anyone living near the Gaza Strip may do so safely. In addition, a scenario in which 1,500 people are killed or taken hostage must end with clear-cut deterrence and victory. Otherwise, we cannot live in the Middle East. As such, we are determined to achieve our goals.
On the international front, Israel will defend itself against charges of genocide against Palestinians in Gaza at a hearing set for next week in a case that could be a landmark in international law. Another senior Hamas leader, Ismail Haniyeh, is praising South Africa for filing the complaint against Israel with the International Court of Justice.
I applaud all the positions of support, and especially here the state of South Africa, which filed a complaint with the International Court of Justice against the occupying state for its crimes against humanity, ethnic cleansing and genocide. And we appreciate the political and legal importance of this lawsuit.
South Africa charged that Israel is violating the 1948 United Nations Convention Against Genocide.
While the Hamas rapist regime does everything to maximize civilian casualties with its despicable human shield strategy, Israel is employing measures unprecedented in the history of warfare to minimize civilian casualties.
Government spokesman Elon Levy says South Africa is standing on the wrong side and supporting the Nazi-like massacre of Israelis by Hamas.
The state of Israel will appear before the International Court of Justice at The Hague to dispel South Africa's absurd blood libel.
The case could last for years. For now, Israel continues its military operations in Gaza along its northern border and for the return of its hostages. Julie Stahl, CBN News, Jerusalem.
Well, once again, this is incredible doublespeak on the part of the international community. To accuse Israel of war crimes here is absolutely absurd. They were the one who were the victim of the attack on October 7th. And we all need to keep in mind there are still hostages, Israeli citizens being held hostage by Hamas. Hamas is a terrorist group. They can't expect to have shelter in any nation. And they're also the government of Gaza. Until that changes, until the hostages are released, Israel has to use any means necessary in order to get them back. The international community should absolutely recognize that. And I hope the Palestinian people start to recognize Hamas is their enemy too. This ideology to wipe Israel off the map, these chants of from the river to the sea, that's the chant for genocide. That's the chant for ethnic cleansing.